What has more horsepower than the Lexus GS 350 all-wheel drive? A tighter turning radius than the Audi A6. And even more torque than the BMW 528i. Well, if you guessed the 2011 Acura TL with super handling all-wheel drive, you'd be exactly right. And you'd also be right that that's the car I'm driving right here today on the roads of Smyrna, Tennessee. Since you guessed the car, we're also going to give you a chance to guess our first guest. I'll give you a few hints. He lives here in Tennessee, is not a country music star or a NASCAR driver. He's got a Scottish accent, is of Italian descent with an Italian name, and has the best hair in racing. Still don't have it? How about two-time IndyCar champ, two-time Indy 500 winner, including this year. Welcome to Test Drive, Dario.
Thanks, TK.
We've been trying to get you on this show for about 5 years now, so I'm glad we finally made it happen. Right here in some roads not too far from where you live, which leads to the obvious question. When you came to this country, did you ever imagine, A, you'd be a two-time IndyCar and Indy 500 winner and living in Tennessee?
No to both. No to both questions there. You know, I really ended up here in Tennessee because when I met Ashley, she was living down here, and yeah, I was kind of just floating around wherever I felt like. So that's how I ended up here. It's a really cool place and some pretty cool roads which we'll get to see. And also with Indy, I never expected that. It was, especially after doing it sort of 4 or 5 years, I just found how difficult it was to win the bloody thing, and finally it all fell into place in 07, and then again this year.
You didn't just win, you stomped them. I mean, from the drop of the green, the outside move, and then, I mean, it's like you were wanting to prove a point.
Yeah, I did absolutely. I didn't quite know how good the car was going to be, but I knew that it was pretty good getting up to speed, so I wanted to see if I could pass a couple of guys at the start, and was able to get in the lead in about 2 corners. And then the more laps that went, the quicker the thing got. So I was definitely on a mission that day, just to, first of all, get the race won, but also just to kind of, as you say, prove a point.
One thing where you really opened some eyeballs, I remember when you put the LMP2 car on the pole at Long Beach ahead of all the LMP1 cars. What was that lap like?
You know, that was one of the most satisfying laps I've ever had. We were gunning with the Penske Porsches at the time. That was who we were fighting out for pole position, and they were kind of cheering and everything because they thought they had the pole, and we came round and stole it from them. So it's always fun to race against Roger and his guys, but it's more fun to beat them too.
What is it? I mean, does this remind you of Scotland at all? The types of roads or the flavor, the type of driving? Do you like to get out and sample them?
I do. I love to go out and play around on the roads here. It's, you know, especially west of town, there's a bit more undulation and stuff, and yeah, it really can remind you of home. You just got to remember to drive on the other side.
Good sounding exhaust, huh?
Yeah, it is.
They worked really hard, not just to make it sound good, but they really worked on reducing the back pressure and going so far as a special forming technique so that the tighter bends in the exhaust. It's hard with a mass-produced exhaust to make it really smooth and fitted, but they really worked hard because that's where a lot of the big gains, especially in the higher revs, come from.
The good thing as well, at this kind of speed, it's totally quiet when you want it to be.
Yeah, and then it wakes up when you kick it down a little.
Exactly. Perfect.
Now, we've been driving along for a bit, but I haven't even asked you about the styling. Why don't you tell me your thoughts about it, but then drive up, just kind of do a little drive around and tell me what you think, front, back, side, and so forth.
I love the styling of this car. It's so edgy and modern, especially in the pearlescent white that it really shows it off. And Marco Andretti got one a while back, and he took it to one of the races, and I just sort of sat there in the bus lot admiring the lines of it. For me, it's a cracking looking car.
Yeah, the grille too is all business.
You know, and now you look at cars, and 90% of the cars on the road all look the same.
Yep.
And this thing just stands out, which is yeah, is really cool. It's not boring in any way, shape, or form. It's a cracking looking car.
Well, I mean, it's a real treat actually to have a world-class driver. We rarely get the street driving impression because we're always doing the racetrack stuff, so it's really been a treat. But it would not be test drive if we didn't flog some cars on a racetrack. And fortunately, we are just down the road from Nashville Superspeedway. So what do you say we stick around for another segment and take these two beasts out on the racetrack and ring them out a little bit?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Coming up, we'll be running high, wide, and handsome at Nashville Superspeedway.
Bit of one of your old Trans Am moves there, TK.
Yeah! Stick around. Welcome back to Test Drive. We are with two-time IndyCar champion and two-time Indy 500 champion Dario Franchitti. Just did some road driving. We are heading into Nashville Superspeedway to ring out the 2011 Acura TL with super handling all-wheel drive on the road course. Just like that, we're rolling down pit lane. Look at these clouds. This is a beautiful part of the country.
Yes, it is.
Now, the one thing we haven't talked about is you're in the 6-speed, which is notable because fewer and fewer cars are available in a manual. So you can get this super handling all-wheel drive with a 6-speed manual. It's going to be a lost art. It's going to be like being a shoe cobbler or something like that. Nobody's going to know how to drive a manual transmission.
Isn't that the truth? Most of the cars that I own actually have still got 5 and 6-speed transmissions. I still like the fun part of actually
the art of it.
Yeah, the art of it, and still heeling and towing and stuff. And although I've never been very good at heeling and towing anybody that ever worked with me in the race car, I'll tell you, it's not my strong suit.
Now, if you beat me, it's because the manual transmission's like 80 pounds lighter. I just want to say that little disclaimer. That'll be appearing a graphic on the bottom of the screen.
80 pounds.
80 pounds, yeah.
Okay, that's almost the difference in weight between Danica and I.
Now's the time to get into this torque vectoring. It's super handling all-wheel drive. I love the sort of Japanese nomenclature, but it really isn't just regular all-wheel drive. I mean, it's got some pretty smart innovations in it. A lot of all-wheel drive systems, have a variable center diff, and they can vary the torque front to rear. But the key thing is the Acura can actually split it side to side on the rear axle, and they basically give extra power and extra rotation to the outside rear wheel to counteract the normal understeer tendencies of an all-wheel drive car.
I wonder if I could get that in my race car. That would be nice.
Penske might have it.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Rod. Just kidding for the attorney's call.
Sorry, Roger.
Have you looked at your all-wheel drive, super handling all-wheel drive indicator on the dash at all while we're doing this?
I have. It's pretty interesting the way it moves it around. It's working overtime.
It's so wild how it rotates the car. Really cool.
Yeah. I am really liking this car a lot. This is it's really impressing me. The handling is just it's a revelation. Actually, I'm really enjoying it.
We're running the optional 19-inch wheels with the summer tires. The road holding is unbelievable. I mean, the magic 1G number has always been there for road cars, and this, which is a sedan, a 4-seater, with these tires on it, generates, this is accurate for you, 0.97 Gs turning left with the driver's weight on the inside, 0.96 the other way. Almost a full G lateral.
That's impressive. Pretty impressed with the brakes. As hard a time as we're giving the brakes here, they're just not fading. It's normally a street car's weak point on a racetrack, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the first time I got the ABS to engage. of one of your old Trans Am moves there, TK.
Yeah!
See that?
All the super handling all-wheel drive cars have the 3.7 liter, 305 horsepower out of a V6, 273 pound-feet of torque. The manual, the one you're in, 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds.
That's getting it done.
And so all of this, they get the best of, not both worlds, best of all three worlds. More top-end power, more torque, and better mileage with the variable valve timing, the VTEC system.
I think that's another example of the racing side of things getting transferred to the street cars.
It used to always go the other way, and the race cars were always high-tech. Now the road cars are higher tech because of all the limitations that are placed.
Yeah, exactly. I much preferred it when we got to play with all the toys in the race cars.
Well, buddy, it was worth the wait. You're a fascinating guy to talk to. If we'd done it 5 years ago, we wouldn't have had 2 Indy wins, would we have?
Exactly, wouldn't it? It's nearly enough as much to talk about, would we?
So thanks for making time out of your schedule right in the busy part of the season. Appreciate it, and go get them the rest of the year.
Will do. Thanks, TK.
Yeah. Up next, we look at the Acura TL frontwards and backwards.
Of course, you know, if you're in reverse in Nashville, you get your house back, your dog back, your girlfriend back.
Stay tuned, there's more to come.
Little country music joke.